Alright, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. Today's video, I'm going to be going over the weekly market outlook for the week of March 17th till March 21st. So to begin today's video, I do want to take a look at the economic calendar here with you guys. So next week on Monday, we have core retail sales and retail sales, which are the two news events at 7:30 a.m. that are considered red folder news. On Tuesday, we don't really have anything. Wednesday, we have FOMC meeting, federal funds rates being released at 1 p.m. So that is something to watch out for. And on Thursday, we have unemployment claims here at 7:30 a.m. So quite eventful week, right? The main thing that you do want to look out for is the FOMC statement and the conference. So with that, let's take a look at the technical. Yeah. Yeah. Bye bye. And so coming into this week, let's take a look at this weekly candle here. So with the way that we closed here last week on the weekly candle, two things that I do want to point out. So we did create a weekly fair value gap here, right? So there is that weekly fair value gap. And with the way that we created it, I'm going to go into this week treating this weekly fair value gap as a breakaway gap, meaning I don't want to see prices trade up into this inefficiency. I don't want to see us trade up into this inefficiency, but rather I want to see us take out, either we take out previous week's low, right? We could take out previous week's low, or we could consolidate. Yeah, so those are the two scenarios that I do have in mind, right? It's either we consolidate or we take out previous week's low. I don't want to see us take out previous week's high. The reasoning behind that is, so last week, this is where we closed, right? This is where we closed here. And I'm going to make this a purple line. And so this purple line is below previous 2 weeks low. So notice how the purple line is above the red line. And because we closed below the red line in this fair value gaps here, I'm going to have to treat this fair value gap as a breakaway gap. It's just a very objective way to view a breakaway gap. I don't believe ICT has ever spoke about this, but yeah, bye bye. But with the way that we close here, like I said, this weekly objective would be for us to take out the previous week's low or consolidate. I don't want to see us retrace back into this weekly inefficiency here. So now that I have a general idea of where prices wants to go here on the weekly time frame, let's take a look at the daily time frame. So this daily candle here from Friday, this is Friday's daily daily candle here. And it suggests us, or is suggesting to me, that we're most likely going to take out this daily high, right? It's an up close candle. My best bet is that we're probably going to take out the daily high. And yeah, so notice how the weekly objective is lower prices, right? Or consolidative state. But the daily time frame is suggesting to me that we're most likely going to take out previous day high. So daily objective, higher prices. The weekly objective, lower prices. There is a misalignment between the time frames right now. So because of that, here I'm actually going to use the daily time frame instead of the weekly time frame here as a higher time frame order flow. So going into Monday, I want to see us take out previous day high. Afterwards, I'm not going to force anything, but I can't anticipate for previous week's low to be completed on Monday because of the information, because of how we closed on Friday. And I do want to take a look at the 2-week time frame too. So 2-week time frame. This is the 2-week time frame, by the way. The 2-week time frame is suggesting lower prices as well. So notice how this is the 2-week candle here. It's a down close candle, pretty bearish, easy to anticipate previous 2 weeks low to be taken. So the 2-week candle suggesting lower prices. Let's see, the 3-week candle, not necessarily, it hasn't closed yet. 4-week candle hasn't closed yet as well. 5-week candle, it has closed. And so let's take a look at this 5-week candle here. So this is the 5-week candle. Easiest assumption to make, right, is that the previous 5-week candle here, this low right here, is the draw of liquidity. It's very easy to assume. It's a down close candle. In the next 5 weeks, I do want to see us take out the 5-week low. So everything here on every single time frame above the weekly time frame is suggesting to me lower prices. It's just, when are we going to complete that time, or when are we going to complete that objective, right? That's going to be shown here on the daily time frame. So depending on how we close on a daily candle would suggest to me when we are going to complete that weekly, 2-weekly, 5-weekly objective, which is lower prices. So yeah, that is my objective coming to this week on NQ, and the daily objective here on NQ as well. So ES, let's take a look at ES. So here, basically the same idea coming into ES, right? We created this weekly candle here on ES, and what did I state about the NQ's weekly candle, it being a breakaway gap? Well, on ES, same idea as well. Notice how last week we closed here at that blue line, tealish line, right? And this red line is the previous 2 weeks candle's low. So notice how that teal line is below the red line. This idea means that we're most likely going to treat this weekly fair value gap as a breakaway gap. So going into the weekly time frame here on ES, I'm going to anticipate either previous week's low be taken, or we could consolidate. Those are the two things that I am anticipating. So I don't want to see us take out previous week's high. But one thing, the same thing here on ES as well. So weekly time frame suggesting lower prices, daily time frame suggesting higher prices. So this up close candle here, right, is Friday's candle. It's suggesting to me that we're most likely going to take out Friday's high of day, which is the green line. And so because the daily time frame is suggesting higher prices, but the weekly time frame is suggesting lower prices, I'm kind of at a, not a limbo, but I can't rely on the higher time frame, or I can't rely on the weekly time frame as my higher time frame objective just yet. So I'm going to wait until a daily candle aligns itself with the weekly order flow. So going into Monday's price action, or I guess Monday's trading, I do want to see us take out previous day high. Yeah. So that's my objective, or my bias here for ES. Let's take a look at the dollar. So the dollar here last week, we consolidated. We actually didn't really make any movement. Yeah, we just consolidated last week. So coming into this week, I do want to see us retrace back into this weekly fair value gap here, this weekly SIBI. And let's take a look at the 2-week time frame to see what it's suggesting. 2-week time frame. So the 2-week time frame here is suggesting lower prices. Let's take a look at the 5-week time frame. Same thing. So the dollar suggesting lower prices here on the 2-week time frame and the 5-week time frame. And so if we do retrace back into this inefficiency here, I want to see us respect it and push us lower. So that's my objective here for the dollar, lower prices. And yeah, that's basically everything that I do want to go over in today's video. And yeah, so you guys should be and could be expecting live streams here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Last week I wasn't home a lot of the time. I think I was only able to stream on Tuesday, but yeah, the streaming schedule should be back to normal by tomorrow. And thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, be safe.